Yeah. Welcome back to the Sick Podcast Anvil Show. Guess what? We got football back, baby. Training camp started today, and we're going to start talking about that and some other cool, maybe not so cool things, but you be the judge. Either way, welcome back to the Sick Podcast Anvil Show. Sammy, bring us in.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Anvil Show.
Intercepted! Marlon Jackson! Marlon's got it! We're going to the Super Bowl! We're going to the Super Bowl! Marlon Jackson with the interception! He picked off Tom Brady!
The sickest Indianapolis Colts podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Yes, sir, and it is sick. But you know what? Before we get started, let's go ahead and start us off with that anvil. Hey, that was quick too. Appreciate you, Sammy. Hey, welcome back to the Sick Podcast Anvil Show. We are your host. I am CJ, and with me, you know who he is. But there you see, that's crazy. But see,
Haters.
But you know what? You know what? I'm in a potentially, or I'm gonna say I'm in a joyous mood. I know Pat's in a joyous mood, and you want to know why? It's training camp, baby. We are back. Training camp is now, the players reported today, and camp is now actually about to be underway. We're going to see the players start to go out onto the field tomorrow. But you know what? We got a chance to take a look at some of those things with training camp, and we're going to talk about that. But before we do, not Brent. We had Pat. You had something that you wanted to mention. It's funny that I say Brent because he happens to be a member of what Pat's going to talk about right now.
Absolutely. Well, what brought it to my attention is I got my package. You know, I'm also a member of the Blue Crew, the oldest Indianapolis Colts tailgating group there is. One of the best that does it. They do bar crawls. They do charity events. They do a lot of things out at training camp. They take bus trips all over the place to go to away games. So this is one of the items I got with my membership. I got koozies. Okay. I got, a license plate, got a hat, a shirt, pretty much whatever you pay and your yearly fees, you get it back in goodies.
Yeah.
So I thought this one was really, really cool because if you read the very first line, what does it say?
Win one for Jim.
Win one for Jim, baby. That's pure dedication and love for this organization. The Blue Crew always brings it. So I'm definitely encouraging everybody to reach out to the Blue Crew.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Mr. Meanie. Get a membership. Get a t-shirt, get your license plate, come out to Touchdown Town, walk through all the tailgates, meet some incredible people, have some incredible food. The shots are always off the hook. The beer is always ice cold. You can't have a better time on a Sunday than the Blue Crew lot and Touchdown Town.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you right now, through all the people that I've met throughout all the years that I've been doing this, I've never once had an issue.
Yep.
Never once had an issue. If funds were low, I was honest. I'm like, hey man, can I get you next game? Yeah, I got you. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
Food,
Absolutely.
drinks, it's because they're just good, kind-hearted people. And that's who you're tailgating with. That's who you're running around with. That's who you're going to the games with. And me personally, that's what I need in my life. I need those good, kind-hearted people that like to have fun and they bring the energy. So if you guys get a chance, find them. They're on Facebook. They're on X. They're all over the place. They're going to be out at training camp. Find them. Find a member. Say, hey, who do I talk to? And I think the fees are almost like $30-$40 a year.
Yeah.
And it's really minimum compared to what you get, the fun atmosphere that's provided, and the people. So I can't talk enough about the Blue Crew.
Yeah. And you know what I'm gonna say, because I mean, this year coming up, I'm gonna be coming out possibly like 2 home games, just like I said, because that's what we do, right?
Right.
And so the
Well,
one thing that
you done committed to that first game.
oh yeah, absolutely, no, I'm gonna be there from
You
I'm gonna
know
be
our
there that
followers
first
ain't
game.
gonna let you live that down if you
Oh
don't
yeah.
make it
Oh
out.
no, they're not. No, they're not. But that's exactly why I plan to be there in full effect. But
Yeah.
like one of the things, and like I said, I know like Meanie. There's also some members from the Blue Crew that I've had the chance to speak to regularly, just doing like spaces on Twitter. Just like I said, have conversations with. Like I said, Meanie. He's become a good friend of mine. It's just like we have so much fun usually picking on Brent. I mean, not Brent. It's picking on Pat that it's just like it's ridiculous. But we're gonna but the crazy thing is I'm very, very much like excited for it because any time that you've seen anything with the Blue Crew, touchdown town, like anything, like it's the party before the party. And depending on how the season ends up going, the Blue Crew lot might be the highlight of the games, depending on exactly what we're looking at. So
There's been a few games last year that the tailgating was absolutely the highlight.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, I'm very excited. Like I said, it's just like there's a lot of people who I've met through, well, just social media, but just interacting with people that I saw last year going to training camp that, I'm gonna actually get the chance to go out there, have a few in the morning, and then just really just be able to chop it up, just get excited for the game, and then go watch the game. Like that's going to be, the biggest thing for me. So I mean, like I said, I'm excited, and like I said, definitely make sure that you check out the Blue Crew because they're going to make sure that you have a great time. All right, you go there, all fun, no BS. Be prepared to eat, be prepared to drink, and yeah, it's gonna be a good time. So yeah, just want to make sure that we will go ahead and talk about that first and foremost because that's important.
It's very important because a lot of times, Chris, I've been doing this for quite a few years now, and you wouldn't believe the amount of messages I've gotten over the years. Like, hey, I'm coming to the stadium to a game that my first time. Where can I go? Who can I tailgate with? They just didn't have all that
Mhm.
information. But if you're a part of the Blue Crew, I mean, you've got, I don't know how big it is, 100,000 people that you can ask questions to.
Yeah.
Eric, if you've got a number that's not going to make me look too big of a liar, because I said a pretty large number, 100,000 is quite a bit. But you see what I'm saying? You're part of the organization that's in the know.
Yeah.
You'll have direct information when you want to try and do things like that. So it's important to have the right friends. I'll just
Yeah.
tell you that right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And nothing that's been said has been truer. It's really just gonna just boil down to the fact that it's just like if you want to have a good time, that's where you go. And I mean, and honestly, even beyond that, it's just like the Anvil crew with the energy that they bring to the tailgate, and then also being with the Blue Crew, it's going to it'll only further enhance something that's already big for not just the Indianapolis Colts or Indianapolis Colts fans, but honestly just for like a whole entire game day experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't get confused. Just because we're called the Anvil, they're called the Blue Crew, and the people next to us is called Sons of Tailgating, and there's multiple other groups. Someone needs a hand, everybody jumps in. This is one
Hmm.
family.
Yep.
Do not get that mistaken. We are all one family, baby. And we all watch out for each other. We all help each other. If someone's gotten a little too tipsy, we make sure they get home. Doesn't matter what part they're called or where they're tailgating at, because we're a family. So yeah, don't ever get that confused. And Eric mentioned he can cook, and I will vouch for that. That dude knows how to flip a spatula, man. I'm telling you right now. So if you ever get a chance, come out. The first time I met Pat and the Anvil crew was when they was over next to Subway. Although I had to work the game, you guys still show me love. That's why I'm a season ticket member. Awesome, Brian. Hey, I hope you can get to camp Monday. You guys don't forget we're doing the meet and greet with Drew on Monday. Mr. Rusty, what's up? He is the founder of Colts Bleed Blue Nation.
Mm-hmm.
See, more family. More family. Everybody's family. Come on now. We're going to have a good time this year. Even with the competition talk and some people like this guy, some people like that guy, we're still family. We're going to have a good time this year. All right, Chris. Speaking of football, you want to talk about some?
Absolutely. And like
I
said,
I can talk about tailgating all day long.
I
I'm
know.
just telling
You've made that very clear. Not with your words, but generally with your actions as it is. And what's going on, Adam? Yeah, Adam. He's another guy. It's just like who's in the spaces. Just definitely tuned in. He'll be out there. So yeah, there's a lot of good people. And like I said, a lot of good fans. Like I said, it's just like fans that became family. That's what we want to call it
Absolutely.
from now on. Fans that become family. So you know what, and friends that become family as well. But
I'm sorry, Chris, but don't forget if you come out Monday for the meet and greet. I think the Colts sent the schedule. It's the defensive line or offensive line's day to go around doing signatures. So we're going to have a tight end out there, but don't forget it's his birthday. He don't know, we know. So there's plenty of people that already reached out, said, is it all right to bring a gift? Yes, absolutely. If you want to bring Drew a gift, bring it. We're going to have a gift for him. As once he gets to our location, we're going to sing happy birthday to him. See if we can get him to blush a little bit, make his mama cry. All the good stuff. So
Yep.
we're gonna have a good time. But if you've been to training camp looking for autographs, photos, it's a hit and miss. If you're not in the right spot, you don't get nothing. If you're in the best spot, you could get one or two. Because those guys are hot, they're tired, they're ready to go back into the showers. But Drew's giving us his time, to meet everybody, take pictures. So we're going to have to move it fast because this is not a Colts organized event. This is just something kind of we threw together within the Colts time frame of training camp. Okay. So just keep that in mind. If you want to bring him a present, but get ready to sing happy birthday. Because Drew's a real good friend of ours. And, whenever we've asked for help from him, he's always obliged.
Yep. Absolutely. And so with that being said, getting to it, people, training camp, the players did report today, which means that this is the beginning of training camp. Of course, tomorrow starts the actual practices, but today people were reporting. We got to see AR reporting in, Daniel Jones reporting in, JT, Zaire, DeForest Buckner, Quiddy Pay. We saw Chris Ballard out there. We haven't. I don't think I saw Shane at any point, but I mean,
Shane.
we got
Kenny.
we got a chance to see Josh Downs, I think I said Michael Pittman Jr., but either way, saw Michael Pittman Jr. We saw A.D. Mitchell out there. I mean, so we got it. Like the players were coming in, which I mean, like I said, that means that we're that much closer to football. Like I said, after this weekend, I mean, we really only have about 5 weeks. So I mean, I'm going to be very, very excited about the prospect of the fact that we're back in full effect. Now, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about some of the things that we heard thus far. We know Zaire had a chance to kind of talk about his recovery after dealing with like the ankle surgery. He said he should be back sooner rather than later, so it's going to be no pup list for him. And then I think we had DeForest Buckner. He spoke for a little while about kind of like some of the changes to the defense and how, like I said, this year is a pivotal year because this year, like the defense really, really has to step up. But we got a chance to hear from Chris Ballard on a couple different things, right?
Hey, can I interject with the Buckner thing? And because I don't know if we've got this clipped or not, but I think it was Stephen Holder from ESPN brought up what Buck said about the defense last year.
Yeah.
And if you watch that interview today with Chris, he said everybody's name on it.
Yeah.
On the defense, so he wasn't just pounding on Gus Bradley and everybody else, but he said he put everybody's name on the debacle that our defense was last year. And he really highlighted, what he thought he did to really help this defense. I thought it was really, really interesting for him to say. So if you get a chance, go back and watch that full interview. I know we got Chris, you got a couple clips cut out, but I just thought that was pertinent to say.
No, actually, and
with
we can kind of stay right there for right now because DeForest Buckner, he did come out at the end of last year and he said, if I have to do some recruiting, then I will, because he knew that the defense had to be better. So for him to say, okay, yes, we are like we're it's just like I like the direction that the defense is headed in, but he still to an extent is not giving them an inch until he actually sees it coming together, which for me personally, I don't blame him. Like, I mean, it's and we can be honest and we can be very candid. Where the defense was last year was not a good thing.
No.
And for somebody who came from, I mean, DeForest Buckner, he came from being in the Super Bowl that year to go into the playoffs with us, getting knocked out in the wild card, and he hasn't seen the playoffs since.
Yeah, facts. And correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it him at the end of the year saying that he didn't think it was a good idea to keep all the same guys? Everybody got complacent.
I believe so.
Yeah. So,
because
when you got a leader like that speaking up, that's a good thing for your team.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And now he's praising the changes. He's praising, Coach Lou, and, he's excited again. Josh, what's up, brother?
What's going on, Josh? Our brother from Horseshoe Mob Podcast. You'll be able to watch them after us tonight. So definitely make sure that you tune in for that. But the thing is, DeForest Buckner coming out at the end of last season was the things that I would expect from a veteran who knows that things need to change, who is leveraging the power and their voice. Because I think if DeForest Buckner was somebody who was just here and he wasn't good and he, had never really been good for the team and, it just frequently was in trouble and all this, that, and the other, there wouldn't be a whole lot that you'd be able to say or do based on what it is that he's saying, because it's just like, oh, well, you don't care anyway. But DeForest Buckner, he does it right every single year.
Yeah.
And the fact that he does, like I said, it's just like there's people whose words are as heavy as a 1-ton ball. And there's some people whose words are as light as a feather.
Yep.
And when it comes down to it, I think DeForest Buckner is one of those guys where it's just like when he speaks, you listen because he's earned that respect. So for me, it's just like for him to say, like, responding to there being a new scheme, and I think now you're going to see that we're going to see, I'm going to say, like, more of a resurgence, because now he's not just going to be, he's not going to be a four down lineman damn near every single play, and then he's just going to have to make something work, even though the defense is just the same vanilla thing. No, that's not what it's going to be. And that's just because also that's not what Lou Anarumo does.
Right. Sammy, can you bring up Rusty Berlin's question? There you go. Love it. He's wanting to know if JTT is going to work out. A little longer question but that's the nuts and bolts of it. Rusty, yes, 100%. I believe he's going to work out. The kid is a monster. And if he wants playing time, which all these young cats do, he better work out, because there's a shit ton of talent on that line.
Oh yeah.
And the only way to be seen from the coaches is to make those splash plays.
Yep.
To be in the right spots, to get off that tackle, to get to the quarterback, break that line down, So, yeah, I think he's a good kid. We've requested a one-on-one with him at training camp, so we're trying to put that together now. We'll see how that manifests out. We're still working on the Chris Ballard interview for training camp. Hopefully we'll know something by tomorrow on that. So Chris watches the show. So Chris, move that stick. We got a lot of logistics to do here on our side.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, yes, Rusty, to answer your question, he is an absolute monster.
Yes, and I want to say, I'm gonna kind of double down on that, because JTT essentially, I think one thing that you're going to look for, especially this season, to look for the battle. Well, actually, not the season, during training camp. Look for the battle between Kwity Paye and JTT, because JTT can potentially be the guy that edges out Kwity Paye if he's able to stop the run effectively, but then also make sure that he's rushing the passer effectively. Because that's the thing. I think that's the biggest thing with Kwity Paye, right? Yeah, like we look at the sack numbers. The sack numbers have been cool. They look okay. But the problem is that Kwity Paye doesn't create enough pressure on a regular basis
Not
to
for
warrant
a first round pick, no.
Yeah, to warrant just going and keeping him around the way that you would like to. Whereas if JTT comes in, and even if he gets, let's just say 6-7 sacks, but those pressure numbers are way higher than where Kwity Paye is right now, and he's able to be effective in stopping the run, you can see him potentially edging out Kwity Paye very, very easily.
That's why I hated losing Odengbo. Because he had those stat lines, what you've just mentioned. He didn't have a ton of sacks, but his pressure percentage was monster. His run stop was phenomenal, and he played a different position the last couple of years. Odengbo came to us as a defensive end. Grove got hit with that suspension, and they moved him down to D-tackle. And he did a phenomenal job. I hated losing that guy, but I was happy for him. Chicago paid him really, really well, so I hope he's doing great out there.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm gonna, before we just go ahead and move on to some of those other comments, we see that Lou Anarumo, like right now, I think the thing that is going to be, and I think this is going to be like a do or die year for Kwity Paye, because the worst case scenario happened with, for one, the coach that you've worked with the majority of your career is no longer there. Now, Lou Anarumo was able to get the guy that he wanted with JTT. So the thing is, now Kwity Paye has to basically just show that he's going to make a leap, but then also he has to contend with the guy who was hand chosen by the guy who's the defensive coordinator right now. And that in and of itself is going to be a battle, because you have to be able to respond accordingly.
Yeah. And don't forget, this is a business.
Mm-hmm.
You got a stud in JTT on a rookie deal, where this year's Kwitty's contract year.
Yeah.
So when I'm sure Chris and his team is looking at re-signing Kwity and how much, they're looking at the production of the year.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're probably pretty safe just going with the rookie, adding more salary cap to next year if we're not paying Kwity 30-40 million. So keep that in mind too, you guys, going forward.
Yep.
The boss man's
here.
There
we go. All right. Hey,
First off,
look at you looking like
wow.
Uncle Tunde jumping in.
First off, the disrespect is real. As soon as I come in here, y'all try to replace a Michigan man with an Ohio State man. It's diabolical.
Well, that Michigan man has
behavior.
had 4 years.
Diabolical behavior, and I'm not here for it. So don't be talking about Kwity Paye and all that. It's forever. It's forever this.
Wakanda forever?
It's forever that. Don't be. And JTT, you know what I mean? Like, look, new cat, I get it, but we ain't even talk about his little issues where he didn't want to sign his contract. He wanted some guarantees and all this for a second-round pick, and following, other people around the NFL who are now doing that. There's other guys that did that too. So, is that a character situation or what?
Yo,
that's for you, buddy. I think Teresa asked if he was on vacation again.
First off, this is work week. I'm on site. I'm on site this week. Okay, that's number one. First off, Eric, I like to read, and I haven't read anything in a while, Mr. Part-Time. So then there's that, sir.
This man said. He said I'm on site when he's on site at Margaritaville. Like, it's just like, I don't want to hear that. Like, that is this.
I can hear the ocean from here.
When
Exactly.
I got on site my ass.
When I got on a polo, I'm actually working. So I'm actually working.
Yeah, okay.
Kicked my shoes off and immediately jumped on. I know I'm like 25 minutes late, but that's neither here or there. Get off me. I'm here now.
He threw on that polo after he was outside. He was in the pool that has the bar in it. Like, I don't even want to hear that. Like,
is this show about the Colts or is it about me? Is this about the Colts, right? So let's talk Colts.
Hey, we can do two things at once. We can do two things at once. Okay, let's just get that out the way right now.
I'll just say you're my favorite ride at Disneyland.
Hey, yo.
Pause.
What? You said don't ride me.
What? I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I did not say that.
Anyways, let's talk some football.
Man, that's fantastic. Well, Clyde, you came in at a very good time. You came in at a very good time because we actually have to talk about Chris Ballard's pressers today, right?
I missed those.
He had the chance to sit down with the media. So he sat down with guys like James Boyd, Kevin Bowen, and they asked him. They asked him about things like AR. They asked him about things like the playoff drought. And so, Sammy, if you could play that clip where he's talking about AR for us first, please.
You think people regret Baker Mayfield's timeline, Sam Darnold's timeline? Let's just go. Exactly. And so how about sometimes you got to have a little patience with a guy and let them grow through things. Now, there's got to be, like, if you just know this guy, no, he can't do it. But if you think, hey, he's on the right trajectory, why are you gonna flush him just because people outside think you should flush him? I don't agree with that. I think we need to give Anthony every chance to be the best he can be, and I think he can be really good. But things got to come together.
All right. So based on that, and I'm gonna ask you fellas because and when I heard that, I'm like, I get it, but also at the same time, I just don't. I'm gonna ask you, and I'm gonna ask you as candid as possible. Is that answer an answer because he really does believe that we have to be patient, or is that an answer that you answer because of the fact that you know that you possibly made or probably could have made like a bad decision regarding who you had?
I'm gonna go option C. Option C is this. This is what I heard in that short little 30 seconds or so. This team can't afford to be in a lottery anymore. We have too many other pieces. It's 53 guys, and we're really centered around two with the quarterback, Daniel Jones and him. So 51 other guys. I believe we have too good of a team to be back in a, hey, we're going to draft a brand new quarterback again. And we damn sure know that you're not going to go out on the market and poach, the next best quarterback. So whoever's coming up, that team that has him, he's going to stay there. We haven't seen a quarterback change teams, if you will, in their prime. And I can't even tell you how many years. That just doesn't happen. So what I'm getting at is he's like, we got to find a way to win. And because we're going to find a way to win, we're going to learn to win with what we got at quarterback. Now, if this all goes to crap and we end up sucking, then I'm gone. It's a new regime. Carly and the girls take over. You know what I mean? Like, hey, they pick their own people all the way across the board. Head coach, maybe, definitely GM, probably a quarterback. But he's saying right now, like, we've done too much to be terrible. And so the patience, if you will, is we brought in Daniel Jones. Now, I'm not retracting what I said last week about $14 million doesn't mean you have to start. But I'm also saying $14 million means we have, you know, a scapegoat. If Anthony's not good, we got a $14 million scapegoat. And I think with giving him a better situation, now talking Daniel Jones, that they feel like they can still win. Like, but this team can't miss the playoffs anymore. We got what we got. And he understands, because this is also part of that, and I'll kick it to Pat or whoever. But I also think he understands his mess up was he shouldn't have rushed him. No matter what the fans wanted, no matter what Shane thought, we should have just went with Gardner Minshew. We should have just let that happen. You let him sit a full year. Like right now, like we talked about last week, Chris, we should be unveiling Anthony for the first time. He should be getting ready to come to light, and everybody's like, oh, my God, this kid is whatever he's going to be. That's where he should be right now. But we rushed all that. The injuries happened, you know, the terrible completion percentage, all that. So now the pressure's on because if they got to put him in the backseat, I mean, you heard what Carly said. She's like, look, you know, like, yeah, he's got to do his part, but we still believe in him too. And he's still underneath a contract. So she's also kind of saying in a way like we ain't necessarily gave up yet. So, I mean, I look at it like that, man. I feel like this team just can't rely on win or lose based off the quarterback. We got to find a way to win, and we don't have time to go back to the drawing board and see who's coming out in 2026 or whatever. That's the way I read that, but that's just me.
What about you, Pat?
I read a lot of that too, but when I was hearing him speak about the patience, I think he was inadvertently admitting that he should have had more patience with Anthony by what Clyde just said. You know, having sit down, learn, you know, do all those other things. Mm-hmm. But also, you know, they're definitely not ready to give up on the kid. You know, they say he's got to bring it all together, and that's what they want. And I think Anthony wants that too. So I don't know. I don't see it as that big of a deal.
And you know what? The only reason why I bring it up is because of the fact that we see that we're going into this year with everything that we've seen thus far, and we know that there's been a certain amount of, there's been a certain amount of expectation, but it's been also fans having to realize that there's still a chance that we're still middling in that middle, like 7, 8, 9 win range, where we're hoping that, you know, for the love of God, if he works it out and he's actually able to bring it all together, then cool, then that's fine. He could be the alien we all believe him to be. But we know that there's certain factors, like we heard today with the whole monitoring his volume. They said prior to saying we're going to monitor his volume, they're saying he's 100%, he's good. But when you say he's 100%, he's fine, and then you say, but we're going to monitor his volume.
Why?
At what point am I supposed to feel secure that he's good and everything is just going to be fine and that this QB competition is going to just go off without a hitch? That's where my biggest issue is right now, because you can't tell me something that indicates that he should be able to make every single throw during camp, but then you're saying you're going to monitor his volume because you're potentially not going to give him every single snap that you can during camp.
I mean, but I feel like you have to consider like what happened this time, right? Like he basically just had like he overworked, if you will, and the shoulder flared up. You know, you call it bursitis or whatever. I don't know, but the shoulder flared up and he was having, the issues again. And I feel like, yeah, like, no, you don't want to monitor him. You just want them to both to go out there and play or whatever. But I don't think that they're trying to pull the wool over our eyes. Like, there's no scenario for me where protecting Anthony is starting Daniel, and then at some point you got to bring Anthony in and be like, oh God, we know his history when it comes to completion percentage. We know his history when it comes to turnovers and injuries, but now he's going to save us. Like, that doesn't add up to me. What adds up is Anthony would be the first one out. He had, 6-7 games to do whatever, and it just didn't happen. And then you make the QB change, and then you might say, okay, that ship might have sailed. And so now we got the $14 million guy in here who has some experience, who's taking the team to the playoffs, whatever you might have you, finish the season out. Yeah. It doesn't add up to go the other way to me. Start Daniel first. Daniel does Daniel things, and then you're going to bring in the kid who's already like shown us what he could be on his greatest day, and then he's shown us a lot of not so great days. Like, that just doesn't. But I feel like in the pit of their stomachs, they just like, we need a little bit of luck on our side. Like, we need a little bit of QB luck. Like, just start hitting these easy passes, kid, please, so we don't have to hear this. Start completing at least 55%, please, so we don't have to hear this. Like, I feel like we're at that level of desperation at some points of the conversation that we need to really hone in on. Like, look, man, the rest of the team might be the savior. But I'll tell you what, this is what I believe. If the defense is a top 5 defense and they have shortened the field, and this Colts team is winning games 17-14, 14-12, not putting up a lot of points, are we still happy that we're a 12-win team? Or are we just like, well, we ain't that good. We want some close games, but we ain't that good. What do you think before I keep going? Are we happy with that 12 wins? Or are we just like, we kind of mediocre? What do you think?
I mean, if you get 12 wins, then I think, like, yes, we'll be happy, because 12 wins firmly puts you into the playoffs. And I think more so than anything else, fans want to be in the playoffs. How, like, the crazy thing is, for the season that we had last year, seeing how our defense couldn't stop a faucet from running by turning a knob, and seeing that we couldn't do anything down the stretch, they said, oh, but we still mathematically have a chance. It's just like, why would you want to see this team get into the playoffs just so that you can see us get mollywopped on primetime television by whoever's going to move on to the next round? Why would you want to see that? And it's just because fans just want to be in the playoffs. They don't care if we win a game. They just say, we just want to be there just to say we were there.
Okay, and some of that was to my point, but a little bit more, because I was going to say, go back over the last 3 seasons, 9-7, 9-7, 8-9. Whether you want to believe it or not, if you look at how those seasons played, and you go back and watch the games and just go back and look at the stats, we should have won 11 or 12 games in each one of those seasons with shit quarterback play. Think about it. Like, we only got aired out maybe 2 or 3 games in that 3-year span. We got our asses kicked in Dallas like 2 years ago. Was that 2 years ago? When Matt Ryan was still the quarterback. We got destroyed in Dallas. One game, Cincinnati kicked our butt one game. Pretty solid. We went up there and they just went crazy. And then you could say that Giants game last year got out of hand.
Yeah.
And I'm probably missing a game or two. But if you go back and look at those 3, with all of the erratic quarterback play, from Carson Wentz to Gardner Minshew to Matt Ryan to what Anthony Richardson has done, all of that madness, in each one of those seasons, this could have been a double-digit win team, had we had some breaks, number one. But number two, had we had a defense that could truly be a performing unit. So I said, if this defense is a top 5, and maybe I even slide that to a top 10. If this defense is a top 10, with Anthony not being great and Daniel Jones being just a little bit better, this team could probably still win double digits. Like, that's what's scary about this. Because it's not like we've been the Jets. It's not like we've been the Jaguars. It's not like we've been the Browns over these last 3 to 4 years. Outside of the year that we drafted Anthony when we were 4-12-1 or wherever that was, those others 9-7, 9-7, 8-9.
Yep.
And easily could have been 10, 11, or 12 in each season. If you just look at how we lost some of those games. That's what I'm saying. And I think Chris is looking at that like, at some point, I have to say, I have to worry about the other 51 guys. I know how important the quarterback position is, but we can't just keep going out here and saying, well, if this guy don't perform, we don't got a chance. Because it's not really true. There's teams that make it all the time, not, you know what I mean, that don't have the greatest quarterback play, but they have a solid defense, they can run the football, and the QB does just enough. That don't mean they're a Super Bowl bound team, but they make the playoffs.
And if you look at a team that's backwards of what you just said, great quarterback play, but slacks everywhere else, yeah, they make the playoff, but they don't go nowhere.
Get stomped.
Yes.
Or they Joe Burrow, who have an MVP season based on stats, but they can't win games. He dropping 40 a week, throwing for 5-6 touchdowns, and they still losing the games. You know what I'm saying?
Fact.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
So
yeah. But and that's the reason why even now I think it's imperative that we get even, because we can say I might get crucified for this. I don't need a stellar quarterback. I don't. Because the team that won the Super Bowl this year didn't win the Super Bowl with stellar quarterback play. They won by having a balanced attack on the offense and the defense. And then all Jalen Hurts, when you throw for 900 yards less than you did the year before, and then you throw for less touchdowns, you're throwing less interceptions, but your team is significantly better than they were before. And mind you, you had Saquon, who was running wild all the way up until the Super Bowl, where the Chiefs finally said, we need to stop the run. And then what do? Jalen Hurts can just go in the game and pass at will. So I mean, if we're being honest, I don't need Anthony Richardson to be an alien throwing for 600 yards a game and doing all these crazy things because he has the arm to do so. What I would prefer is that he plays safe ball, that he makes sure that he utilizes those short and intermediate game, and then as soon as the defense tries to cheat, you make them pay over the top to A.D. Mitchell or Alec Pierce.
Look, man, I say this all the time. Outside of Cam Newton's MVP season, I just need Anthony to be Cam Newton, bro. Complete it high 50%, be able to use your legs when you need to, make a clutch pass here and there, keep the chains moving, and I'm happy. I get it. We come from Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck, and we had the quarterback that everybody wished they had. We might not have that. We might have something that's way, way less than that when it comes to like how the numbers look. And everybody wants to be in those conversations. You can't help but, like, if you're talking about, basketball or football, whatever sport, you want to be rooting for the team where everybody's got to talk about your guy. Like, I mean, that's just how sports works. But when it's not, you got to be okay with that and what that actually looks like. And so give me Cam Newton, bro. Give me 58%. That sounds crazy, but give me 58%. Give me 3,500 yards. I don't know, 25 touchdowns, maybe 30, and just have 10 to 12 picks because it's going to happen. But I don't know. He don't have to be crazy. He don't have to have an Alec Pierce play every game. But come out and be 15 for 32, bro. Come out and be, 17 for 35. I don't know, man. Maybe ramp it up a little bit. Be 20 for 35. I don't fucking know. But just give him things that are operable within what he can do. Let's take the short stuff. Let's use the play action. Let's make him use his feet some more. Let's use the RPO. Let's go deep when we got to. It's a good problem to have, but at the same time, if you're trying to look at Pat Mahomes and all the top quarterbacks and then say, well, where does Anthony Richardson fall in this? You're never going to be happy because he's never going to be up there. You know what I mean? And I'm just okay with, and I'm okay with that. Versus trying to start over, we tanked this year, and then we look at who's coming out next year, and you're still not the guy everybody wants because everybody's like, oh, tank for Arch Manning. Oh, we're going to take 2 years off now? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, like that's the 2 years. 2 years of losing. Like what is that going to be? Like no, absolutely not.
I tell you what, I would most definitely prefer to have a well-balanced team, offense, defense, special teams, than that $8 billion quarterback.
I agree.
Yeah.
And go back and look at the way Chiefs won so many games. They had balance. They had exceptional quarterback play, but if that play wasn't there, they were still balanced.
With names, there wasn't all that sexy. And like after they lost Tyreek Hill, like you can't really say, oh, this is a good receiver. They got some decent dudes. They haven't even had, substantial, consistent running back play because they drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire, thought that was going to be somebody. He lost his job to Pacheco. He got hurt last year, so I don't even know who was running for a while. But then he came back. Like
it was, I forgot that guy. It was, he was like undrafted or whatever it was.
They just find a way, man. Andy Reid just doesn't take, excuses and injuries and all that shit and turn it. Now, again, they have never, knock on wood, because I wouldn't want this, they haven't lost Pat Mahomes for any kind of significant time. That could definitely change the dynamic of everything we're discussing. But like you said, to that point, $8 billion quarterback, got it, but then we now can only have one decent other offensive guy.
Now you got dollar store linemen.
Chelsea.
Come on.
Because the one that they got beat, the Super Bowl when they lost to the Bucs, that's what happened. They had dollar store linemen because the guys got hurt during the playoff run, and they couldn't block to save their life, and they beat the hell out of Pat Mahomes the whole game when they lost to the Bucs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So give me consistent quarterback play with small growth and a well-balanced team. I'll take that any day.
Big fan.
Any day.
And I feel like we're better.
Yeah, because if they can get Anthony out there, and like Clyde, you mentioned, those short passes. Now you got Warren. You got Josh Downs. You got A.D. Mitchell that can go across the middle or up the sideline.
It's only 10 damn yards, man. It's 10 damn yards to get a first down.
Just start padding those stacks, because as he's doing that, he's building confidence. As he's doing that, he's learning. He's making those baby steps and being more consistent and getting better. It might take 5 years before you say, damn, Anthony's really the guy. He's really the guy. Mm-hmm. But this whole time you've been winning. You've been making serious runs. Hell, you might even get to the top of the mountain. But watch him get better. If you take a lot of those expectations back from a fourth round or fourth pick quarterback.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, man. I mean, you got the head, but we live in the modern day when "What have you done for me lately?" is the only moniker that gratification. Matters, right? And like, there's no way of getting around that. And it's a business, and we always hear that and this and that. But look, there's only 32 jobs to be had. That's the key. Yeah, it's a business, and there's only 32 jobs to be had. So when you say you want another quarterback, you also have to say, well, I'm willing to not be good this year, because you're never, and I mean you'll never, knock on wood, I'll eat my words that ever happened, but the next great quarterback that's whoever you want to call it, right now you're like, oh, that dude's going to get a massive contract. He's not getting out of the team that he's on. It's just not, it don't happen. It does not happen. You got a better chance of trading a NBA star, Luka, for instance. Like, yeah, nobody thought he would leave Dallas. That happened before Pat Mahomes would get traded, or not even traded, before Pat Mahomes would sign with another squad, or before Burrow gets the chance to test the free agent market. They don't do that until they're old and somewhat washed, i.e. Aaron Rodgers, right? You don't get to do that in your prime, because guess what? We got our 12-year quarterback, our 13 to 15-year guy, if you will. Why the hell are we going to give him up? Just not going to happen. So if you're tired of going back to the basement every year and hoping that you can draft the next guy, what is your alternative? Because then you're killing everybody else that's a part of the franchise's dream every year. Hey, yo, Anthony's not good this year. guess we're gonna suck. Okay, I'm cool with that. Just give me my check.
Yeah.
See you next training camp when we try to do this shit again, because we about to go 3-13 this year, and then we'll be picking at the top of the draft again. Sounds
But
like
you
a
know,
plan.
and you know what? I'm going to say just in regards to wins and losses, because there was another clip that I want to make sure that we highlight before we get out of here. But Sammy, can you go ahead and just play the second clip from Chris Ballard, please?
My bad. That was my fault.
It did not come out. It almost did. It was just the F part. The UCK did not come out. Yeah, it sucks, man. I mean, it's the first time in my career I've ever gone 4 years without making. I mean, no, it's a bothersome thing, especially with the expectations we have here in Indy. I mean, that's the one thing with Jim that I always appreciated, man. Like he don't want to be average. He wants to be great. And that's Carly and I mean, look, we spend a lot of time together because she's around us so much. But I mean, she always said, look, I don't want to be good. I want to be great. And that's always the goal going in. And 22 was 22. The 23 season, last game of the year, we're right there. And even last year at the end, we didn't play as good as I thought we should have, but we were still kind of in the mix. And then you go back to 21, and we're in the driver's seat, and we piss it down our legs. We have got to finish better. Like that, at the end of the day, we have to finish the seasons better, because we've had some really good football teams that just haven't got it done.
Chris.
So that's in regards to the playoff drought.
Yeah, my bad. So 21, 97, 22 suck, 23, 24. Okay, got it.
Yes. So it's been 4 years. So we haven't made the playoffs since the Phillip Rivers year.
Yep.
And so, I mean, even knowing that right now, right? From what he said, and he said there's an expectation. But what is the expectation versus the action? Because I don't see it. Like, the expectation is that we're going to win, we're going to be in the playoffs, but this is also like Chris Ballard when he says we'll be in the mix. He doesn't say for what. He says, we're close. And then we also, like, there's never an expectation where it's just like, okay, well, what do we expect to do? We expect to win. We expect to be in the playoffs. We expect to be making a run in January. That's never what it is, right? So when you hear things like that, are we taking it as, man, yes, there's an expectation? Or are we taking it as we're hearing the exact same thing?
I guess I don't think I get into it in that level of thought, because in all honesty, like, you really can't dictate what's going to happen. I mean, any given Sunday, and you got 18 weeks to figure it out. But what I hear in that is, look, unless y'all want me to come up here and literally fillet myself, I'm taking accountability for what has happened. I hear he's taking accountability for what he's happened. But what I also hear is, if we're going to continuously talk about what hasn't happened, which is not making the playoffs, then discussing what will happen is kind of like, like, it ain't like what can I'm 0 for the side, bro. Like, I can't tell you, yeah, the expectation is we're gonna be great, like right there, like, cause like, okay, say that and then be like, but where's the proof? Like you said, like, why would this just change overnight when you've had all these years and you can't win the game that you got to have when you're at home to beat the Texans. You lose the last 2 games of the season when it's in your driver's seat. Last year, you just sputter it away. Like, go to Denver, and just after that, it was whatever. Like, so there would be nothing to reason with. But I feel like the expectation is, like, yeah, you got to come out here and perform. But, I mean, I don't really know what else he could say. Like, what would you – Chris, what would be the words you'd be like, oh, shit, Chris Ballard, he's on it? What would you need to hear?
I need to hear, this year is a pivotal year. We have not been successful over the last 4 years. And as frustrating as it's been, there's no reason why we shouldn't be in the playoffs come January with the talent that we've done and what I did in this past offseason to get this team ready for this upcoming year. If you say that, you've gone over accountability. You've gone over the fact that you understand that we need to be in the playoffs in order to make this thing successful, because Carly has also been talking about being successful and winning and being the best. And you saying we need to be in the playoffs, or we're going to making that guarantee, and also you're guaranteeing your work. Because if you truly believe that you did everything in your power to make this team as good as you can possibly make it this past offseason, there's no reason why you shouldn't believe that this team is going to be able to be into the playoffs, whether you have AR or you have Daniel Jones under center.
But what about we've been often injured, though? Like, I feel like a promise comes with, like, we're going to do this and nothing else, because that's been part of our story. We talk about our staff all the time when it comes to our, like, athletic training staff. Like, do these guys have degrees or what? Because our dudes be out all the time.
Yeah. And,
Like,
and you know what? But you know what then? We go back to competition. Because when you bring in competition, that means that you're bringing in somebody who's going to be able to challenge the guy ahead of them. That means that you're going to have that. So the thing is, for me, if I'm looking at the fact that you preach competition, that means that you preach that you made sure that you acquired talent that wasn't just going to be depth level talent, just in case somebody gets hurt. You went and you acquired talent that was going to make sure that if somebody at that number one spot was not able to play, that the person in that number two spot would be able to go in, and you won't be able to lose that much production because of the fact that you had somebody who was going to be forced out.
But I think that's just a hope and a prayer. Because let's be honest, man. Like, there's not a lot of guys that are number twos that you could be like, oh, he's a number one. Like, it just don't work like that. Like, you could probably pick a handful of guys, right? Like your nickel corner, right, that comes in unless he plays in a defense like ours, could maybe probably start somewhere else. But your second string running back ain't no starter, bro. Come on. You know what I mean? Your second string quarterback probably ain't no starter. Like, he's going to go and win a job. So you say what you need to for competition, but at the end, all these guys are depth. You hope that you hit in the draft and you can just come out and be like, all right, look, I got a young developing player that I think is going to be good in a couple seasons. And so if he has to come in and start, yeah, he looks like a starter because in 3 seasons he will be. But, like, when you're just bringing guys in off of free agency, they have a reason to come in and think they have a shot. But it's very rare that you be like, yeah, these two dudes right here can take his spot any day. And that's our number one. No, it just don't work. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. How do you feel about that, Pat? Do you think that's kind of far-fetched? Like,
no, it's not. But if you're number 2, number 3, and you're given that opportunity, we've seen people take advantage of those opportunities.
Fair.
Now, coming out the gate, would you consider them, a number 2 going to a different team to become number 1? Typically not. But it's up to those individual players. If they take advantage of that opportunity, we've seen that. And that's a good thing. It makes the game better.
True. And I'll say this, though. To our own player, Jalen Jones is a number 1 on the Colts. Been that way now basically a season and a half. 6th-round pick, 7th-round pick, whatever it was out of Texas A&M. When we considered him a starter, was he a starter anywhere else in the NFL? Or was he a starter by need in Indiana? I think you can answer.
Man, that's
Stop it.
No,
Stop it right
I'm
now.
not, because
Stop it. Don't do that.
you're making me have to go think about everybody else.
Man, if you homer me right now with this I love my coach shit.
Well, I'm trying to give you an honest answer, and
a year and a half ago when we started him, not where he is going into season 3. When we started him a year and a half ago, by need then, right? By need, he had to be the next guy up, and he just went into the chair as the number 1 guy. Now he's maintained that, but I'm just trying to tell you, if we had depth that was saying like, oh yeah, this guy, such and such went down and Jalen Jones popped in. Oh yeah, he's a starter no matter what. Let's roll. No.
Yeah, but it happens the other way too. Look how many number one positions get cut. Daniel Jones, midseason. That was their franchise quarterback. They just signed him to $140-something million. And they said, nope, we're giving up on you. That was their number one quarterback. Now he's gone.
That's the anomaly in that situation.
It's not.
That's not normal.
Justin
That's
Fields,
not
big old fat potato head that I don't like from Minnesota.
Kirk Cousins?
No,
Darnold.
Sam Darnold?
Right. Yeah. He was the number one for the Jets. Didn't cut it. So to rebuttal you, it happens.
Come on, man.
I'm sorry, dude. It does. We see it all the time.
But you're missing what I'm saying.
I'm not going to homer you and say, oh yeah, Jalen Jones could start anywhere.
But who was the bona fide number one behind them? When you're like, oh yeah, we cut such and such, or we did this, and we're cool starting DeVito because DeVito's a starter in the NFL. Yeah, right. But like, okay.
I see your point, and it's more obvious on your side of the point because it happens more often than my side of the point, because I was talking quarterbacks and whatnot, but it does happen, Sure. Hey, and man, you get these guys out of college hoping that they can be that number one starter. That's why you draft them. It doesn't matter where you draft them. Your hope is, man, this kid's got some talent. I think we can grow him into a number one spot. Okay. Some people develop faster, some don't. Fair. Some people take advantage of the opportunity, some don't. Fair. So I'm not going to say it as brutal as you did. I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm just not going to be as brutal.
Okay. Fair enough. But I just think competition as a general idea behind what the Colts did this offseason is a little loose, because you want players that are going to be solid, but I'm telling you, it's just rare. There's not a number one guy sitting in free agent right now that could start anywhere. Because if that was the case, he would already be signed.
No, you remember when we had Zach Hicks on, and he was like very adamant, no way we're getting Daniel Jones, no way, no way. And I'm like, no, if you really want to have competition at the quarterback, bring somebody like Justin Fields in. That's competition.
But that was this. Huh? We discussed that last week before we get out of here. It's like, but that was it. A 1 year, $14 million deal, if you will, for Daniel Jones versus look what the Jets had to pay to get Justin Fields. Like, that's not competition. If I'm paying you that and Anthony's on a rookie contract, guess what, Anthony? You about to sit even longer, big dog, or you going to request a trade, because we can't play with competition where, our rookie guy end up beating him out, but we still owe this dude $38 million a season or wherever they give him Justin. That's not competition. That's starter money.
I wasn't talking money. I was just talking talent to talent.
Yeah, but I'm saying, he was in a position based off of last year to say, well, I think that I can get myself into a better position, which his agent did. So had this been a year before, then I think then he maybe gets the $14 million thing and you go talent for talent. But it was just where he was at, and he was like, yeah, that's not gonna work out. Ain't no way that's gonna work out because it's gonna cost him too much. So that's all I'm saying with that. So sometimes you're limiting yourself because of that.
Your checkbook's always going to limit what you can bring in to compete against everybody else. Absolutely, because even if you bring people in and you have to pay that contract, and you can still cut them, but you're still paying a chunk of that contract.
Dead money.
All right. Yep.
Yes.
Absolutely. It's
so you talk about a juggling act. I would not want to be a GM. I would not want to be a GM.
I wouldn't mind it.
Facts. I think I'd be pretty damn good at it because I'm not gonna shoot. Last thing before we get out of here, if you want to be, to Chris's point, if you want to be honest, you got to start name dropping. So if there was something that Chris could have said to me, it would have been like, look, DeForest, Mike Pittman, JT, whoever, Quentin Nelson, they're the leaders of this fucking team. I'm the GM. I do my job, but I'm going to need a lot out of my leaders. Last year we had some issues. The leaders should step up. We're going to have to get some more. But see, it's too fucking PG-13. We need some Al Davis talk. You need some Al Davis from the 80s talk. So we're beyond that space and time when it comes to how they talk. But that's what I would have needed to hear, Chris, to be like, okay, I believe he's fucking with it because he's name dropping. But of course, he's going to put it on him because that's what GMs do. So, anyway, wrap us up, Chris.
Yep, absolutely. So with that being said, and Sammy's going to kill Pat. But either way, please show the people where they can find us on social media, please. And so while he pulls that, you can actually find me on Twitter, the appropriate name for it, at CJ Colts fan. And then Clyde, Pat, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me at Colts on X.
And you can find me
Always
on X at Big P Colts.
Absolutely. And then you
Please
can go
don't be on X nowhere.
And then you can find us at Sick Pod Colts. Please bring up the full page.
I so missed you.
Jesus, we're already
Please
over
don't
time.
ever be
Listen,
on X.
go to make sure the
Hey,
go to
you running
make
this
sure
thing. This
you
is
can
on
hear
you.
us. You can hear us at z103.com tomorrow, Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also on Mix 105, and then it still didn't get the name for those London blokes, huh?
I'm trying to get me off this screen. How do I do that?
I
knew that was coming. I did not.
Absolutely. Can you bring up
That's
the Visit Indy QR code, please? Yep. And then also, if you scan that QR code, you can actually go to Visit Indy. That's good for all your attractions. If you're going to be in the Indianapolis area, it'll have events, restaurants, all different things going on where you can go there. So make sure that you do that as well. And then, like I said, so Pat, we've been plugging this UK radio show that we don't know the name of. So you know what? Next week, Pat, we're gonna have it. Otherwise,
I won't fail you again, sir.
The fact
that's it. You said that
there's
last
no
time.
name for it is insane.
I did not.
Actually, Sammy, can you put our handle down there for the people who need to follow us?
The sick handle on Twitter.
At Colts.
Clyde, you froze up.
Because we are running over.
At Sick Pod
Either
Colts.
sleep or extremely high, one of the two.
There you go. All right. Yep. You can find us at Sick Pod Colts. But
Am I-
other than that, go ahead.
Am I froze? Am I back?
You were frozen for a second.
All right, go ahead.
No. You asked if we were frozen. You know what? Damn it.
Get us out of here,
You know what?
Sammy.
We'll be here. We'll be here next week, guys. We're talking more about training.
Wrap it
Have
up.
a great week. Sammy,
Hey,
take us
don't
out.
forget to keep an eye on the pages, the YouTube, because we will be out at Camp Saturday. We'll be out at Camp Saturday. We'll have some footage there and through different parts of the week. So turn those notifications on. Make sure you're keeping up with us. Shit's starting to move fast, boys. I'm done.
All right, man. Sammy, take us out.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast and Bill Show on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.